This is Newsmax TV. I'm Ashley Martella. We're on the phone with one of the three Republican candidates for the New York U.S. Senate seat, now held by Kirsten Gillibrand, Joe DioGuardi. The New York primary is September 14th. Mr. DioGuardi served in the House of Representatives from 1985 to 1989, representing New York's 20th Congressional District, Lower Westchester County. He's a certified public accountant by profession. Welcome to Newsmax, Representative.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for this opportunity to make myself known to the people and my stands on important issues for them.
Yeah, you say you're running to save America from bankruptcy. If elected to the Senate, what would be your plan?
The first thing that I would say to the people is that we need to put on the books everything we're spending, everything we're committing, so we can understand where we're going. And that's the issue right now, Ashley. We have an accounting system as part of the budget process that's a Mickey Mouse cash basis of accounting that only counts an expense when I decide to write the bill, much like individuals do with their check registers at their banks. But the real accounting system is called Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, and it's imposed by government through the Securities and Exchange Commission to protect shareholders on publicly traded companies. So the basic common sense answer or question should be, why has government exempted itself from the highest standards of accountability and accounting and financial reporting and financial management? And I guess that's a question that would come easily to the first practicing certified public accountant ever elected to Congress, but it doesn't roll off the tongue so easily to the uninitiated.
How do you control reckless spending by Congress, and what's your position on earmarks?
Reckless spending by Congress has to be controlled by first exposing it. And exposing it means telling the people, as I am. Let me give you the bottom line, why my message is resonating and why I'm so far ahead in the polls right now with my two Republican adversaries for the primary on September 14th. Here it is. We're spending money we don't have. We're borrowing from countries like China that we don't trust, that basically we don't share their values, and we are putting in jeopardy the American dream. I believe that I've got not only a good message, but I am a very good messenger for that message, because my family has benefited from the promise of America. I certainly have, with the education that my mom and dad, promoted me for and had me work hard for, even though I was in the store. And I pass it on to my daughter, Kara, who's become one of America's top songwriters, as you probably know.
Okay, what's your position on earmarks?
Absolutely, we must get rid of them. There is no question that as a senator and as a House member, I need to represent my constituents, and I need to do things that benefit them. But many of these earmarks have become excuses to show people, here, look what I bought for you, why don't you vote for me? And especially when you look at infrastructure, and that's where the big money is with earmarks. Infrastructure, you need, in my mind, an infrastructure bank. You need to put on the books. Would you believe, Ashley, we spend $500 billion a year on assets. Even an aircraft carrier could cost $1 billion, and it's written off as part of the deficit. They don't put it on the books as an asset. This is ridiculous, because what you're doing is you're giving the people that are working in Washington the idea, hey, it's already been written off, maybe I could sell it and bring that cash in and show a surplus next year. I mean, that's the danger of the cash basis of accounting. So earmarks, to me, is a process, getting rid of them and replacing them with a process that says, okay, we need an infrastructure bank, we need professionals surrounding the Appropriations Committee that will look at the needs for America in the future. Which bridges should we be building? Which road systems that are interconnecting the states and will benefit economic commerce should be going on? It shouldn't be one member saying, I want that from my district because that's going to get me reelected.
The Dodd-Frank financial reform bill passed by Congress with just a handful of Republican votes does nothing to rein in Fannie and Freddie. What's your take on it?
So this bill didn't mention Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac at all because they didn't want to put it on the budget. Why didn't they want to put it on the budget? Because these two entities now own $5.3 trillion of what people are referring to as toxic mortgages. And that would mean they'd have to be valued, and you'd probably add another $2 or $3 trillion to the already reported national debt, which is a bogus number anyway. And I hope you ask me that question, because the real debt is not 13.6 trillion. That's the bonded debt. That's Treasury bills, Treasury notes, savings bonds, and even the Treasury bills that have been put into the Social Security Trust Fund since we took that money out. We put it in there with FICA taxes, but we put that money in the general fund. That's a shell game. That's a Ponzi scheme. We are killing America, and we don't know it. That's why this stuff all has to be put on the books, in the budget, so people really know how bad the situation is. They don't know how bad it is.
The person currently serving in the Senate seat you're running for, Kirsten Gillibrand, was appointed to the seat vacated by Hillary Clinton when she became Secretary of State. Now, please discuss what you don't like about Gillibrand's voting record on specific issues.
Well, let me not discuss what I don't like about it. As I go around the state, it's amazing how many people would ask me after I introduce myself, Joe, who are you running against? I said, well, Kirsten Gillibrand. Oh, God, we got to get rid of her. And then I would explore why. Well, she won in Congress in a Republican district that leaned conservative. And she beat Congressman Sweeney. In the last few weeks, issues were about spousal abuse came up, and she got in. But to get in that district, she had to commit for the Second Amendment rights, that she saw it as an individual right, and she made other commitments to the conservatives to get elected. As soon as she was appointed, and after she met Bloomberg and Patterson, she flipped on the gun issue, the gun rights issue, the Second Amendment rights, and other issues. People see that. They don't like it. Now, the proof's in the pudding. Look at the last poll, Quinnipiac poll. If you're re-elect, in her case, they can't use the word re-elect, they have to use elect, since she's not been elected yet. If your elect is 50%, you could be somewhat comfortable. 45, you start to worry. You know what hers was? 38. That's why this is going to be a very competitive race, and that's why with me in this race, with the conservative and the Republican lines, my feeling is she has no chance to beat me.
All right, finally, we must ask you about the Ground Zero Mosque. Now, some Republicans, including Congressman Ron Paul and Senator Orrin Hatch, apparently agree with Mayor Bloomberg that it's okay to build the mosque 2 blocks from the World Trade Center site. How do you feel about that?
Well, listen, the issue here is not the legal right to build the mosque. We know that religious freedom is important. The issue here is the footprint of the horrific event. That building was one of the buildings that was damaged. Obviously, it's not right there at Ground Zero, but it's 2 blocks away. And it's a very large building. Now, I think what needs to be done is it has to be explained to the people who want to do this that this is an unnecessary provocation, especially when the Imam Ralph has said with his wife that they want this to be a community center, a cultural center, as well as a mosque, so that they can reach out to mainstream America, so they can bring people together. Well, you've got an open sore yet. 3,000 people were killed in that horrific event. Their families still feel the pain they did 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. So, and also the first responders who died. So it's very insensitive to want to push this in the face of those people. And I would say that everything should be done to convince the people who are running that mosque or who want it that they should try to find another location.
Former U.S. Representative and current senatorial candidate Joe DioGuardi, thanks so much for talking with us here at Newsmax, and good luck.
No, thank you.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.